From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandy.
And Corey Clark.
Chromed out 1100. What I'm doing, getting money.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Coming up on today's show, the rest of the Renegade Express. Do we want sustained excellence, or do we just want a for sure championship this year? As well as what's going on with the strength and conditioning program. Can we find out? We'll try. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Happy Friday. Why don't you go over there to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Start your happy hour off with some great dining options, burgers, cheese curds, right? Cheese curds, Corey, it's what they do.
Yeah, they're really good. I need to stop eating cheese curds. They're not.
You
They're not the best for a health nut. Like you're right. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get all the way there if I keep eating the cheese curds. But it's hard to say no to them because they're really darn good.
NFL. What do we call this weekend? Divisional weekend.
It's the division. Yeah, the divisional round. I think.
This is a good week. Check out all the games. They'll be on all the monitors, and what's the most important thing? They know which game's on which screen, right, Corey? They'll point you in the right direction. You walk into most sports bars. Hey, man, which game is the Niners one on? I don't know. Do you know the channel? No, that's not how this works.
Let me tell you how Corner Pocket works, folks.
Please,
I was there for trivia on Tuesday night, and right when trivia is starting, because they take up half the Vegas wall for the trivia questions. So there's 50 other TVs there, but none of them are tuned to the I think it was ESPNU was showing the Florida State Notre Dame game. They were all on the ACC network, which was Georgia Tech, NC State. And at most bars around town or most bars in your area, they'd be like, I don't know. We'll see if we can get it to it at some point. And if they turn to it, it's with 9 minutes to go in the first half. No, Bill, the owner, is turning like 8 to 10 different TVs all in the vicinity to the Florida State Notre Dame game because it's a Nole bar, and even though they were 5-13 versus 9-9 playing that game, it was still a game that had to be on because it was Florida State.
That's right. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com is the website. Before we get to the Renegade Express, all right, some stuff to pass along for you on your Friday morning, some transfer portal stuff that's like tangentially related to Florida State. Cormani McClain, who was at one point probably going to Florida, at one point probably going to Miami, said, nah. He visited Boulder this past week, and he committed to Deion Sanders in Colorado. He's like the number one cornerback in some maybe services. He dropped down, though, in the on-3 rankings here of late. Also, Tresman Marshall, linebacker, the Florida State was in the mix for when he was in the prep ranks and went to Georgia. I think there was some real hope, belief that maybe he would become Florida State. He chose Alabama. So back to it we go, trying to find some more talent out there in the portal. Otherwise, hopefully you're checking out the YouTube channel, checking out warchant.com. Corey did a fantastic job transcribing the 5. Did we speak to 5 guys on Thursday? Yeah, he did all of it. You guys liked it. 13 replies to his post. I did it on Wednesday. You guys did nothing. Not one reply. It's all right. I don't keep track of that stuff. Darrell Jackson transferred in from Miami. He did admit pretty much there is going to be some sort of process he's going to have to go through on a second appeal here. Or not a second appeal, but this is a second time transferring, so he will have to get a waiver. But he sounds like he trusts the process. Funny little thing. Iroh's asking, man, you're about a tweener coming out of high school. Like when did you know you'd be a defensive lineman like on the interior? And he's like, I knew all along. He's like, I have a big head. I thought that was funny. Speaking of Colorado, Casey Roddick. Wow. Impressive young man. Very impressive. Go listen to his interview. What stood out, I think, I asked him about, you've started several years at Colorado. Like, why would you give that up to come here? Not like, it's Florida State. I get it, but coaches don't guarantee you starting jobs. Like, we know that, but like, what is it? It's like a confidence you have in yourself to leave something comfortable and come and chase something else. And he's like, I would have been maybe comfortable staying there, but I'm happy here. I knew I had to come here. So he's got a really good head on his shoulders. Interesting enough story. Apparently he weighed 380 pounds when he enrolled as a freshman out there in Colorado. He's been in the game for a while. Chris Thompson, deputy head coach, tight ends coach, was actually coaching at Arizona State, so they got some familiarity. I think he tried to recruit him to Arizona State when he ended up picking up Colorado, Casey Roddick. But he's like, yeah, man, I was 380, but I was putting up 425 on the bench, so I thought I was okay. Then I stepped on a scale. I was like, whoops. but he's down about 310, 315, so he's doing well. KJ Kirkland, shout out Raines High School. Nice job with this kid. Really, really impressive young man. Apparently he's got 2 sisters, I think, that run track. Good head on his shoulders, man. Florida State's got like a forensics team in that locker room too, man. These guys are all really sharp dudes. He's got his head on right. Wants to come in and work hard. He said he has seen the ability of young freshmen to get on the field at Florida State here the past few years, so it's definitely something in the back of his mind, but he just wants to work hard and learn as much as he can. He pointed out guys like Greedy Vance, Azaria Thomas, and even Travis Jay as a guy that he's leaning on, trying to pick their brains, get as much information as he can from them to learn the scheme. So shout out to Ray Pereira, our guy too, Pillar was talking about. Hopefully maybe Patrick Surtain can revitalize Travis Jay's career. That would be cool. But good to hear that he's still engaged, trying to help out young kids, believes in everything. Lamont Green Jr., a.k.a. Boots. He will be wearing the number 45 that his father wore. Again, he's, first-team forensics. Really sharp kid, again, out of Gulliver Prep High School. Mention just, all the productivity they've had at defensive end. It was really cool to hear him talk about kind of how envious he is and how much sort of motivation he has, having seen Jermaine Johnson do well, having seen Jared Verse do well, having seen Patrick Payton do well. Came out and said that he thinks this is a team that has the potential to win a national championship. Now, will he be on the field helping them? He's going to do the best he can. But guys realize, even the young kids, I'm sure the transfer portal kids obviously realize that they can strike the iron this coming season. But I think even the young kids, and even the 18-year-olds, the kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for sometimes, right, dads? Right, moms? So he realizes what they've got going this year. He's excited. Then Jaheim Bell, I don't know, man. I wanted to say something, but I probably can't because I'm kind of a whitish guy. His hair is amazing. His fade and the line work on his hair, it was amazing. I wanted to be like, hey, man, you want some NIL opportunity here? You want to give a shout-out to your barber? Is your barber in Tallahassee? Is he in Columbia? Are you driving back and forth? He looks the part. I hate saying that, but, man, he's just a physically impressive young man. And he admitted that things didn't go his way this past season, but he gave it all that he had when he was actually out there for South Carolina. Again, he had a really huge bowl game in 2021 to close out that season. Huge expectations for 2022 and never really quite materialized. But he owns that, says he's working as hard as he can. He did work as hard as he could out there, and he's going to do the same thing here. So a lot of confidence in him. Obviously mentioned, having Jordan being your quarterback was a big deal to him. So all these guys pretty dialed in, good group. We'll do this again next week, I think Tuesday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday again, but we'll keep getting a steady trickle of these newcomers. But again, all the interviews are up on our YouTube channel. Our guy Ben's cutting out some of the more interesting parts and making them, like about a minute and a half. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can just jump in and get the highlight. And of course, Corey's on warchant.com, tapping it all away. All right, then let's get to the Renegade Express, Corey Clark.
Okay.
40 minutes or so, 50 minutes, who knows? Buckle up. Let's go. Island Chief, wake up. Italics and an exclamation point. Probably should have done it a little bit better. Sorry. January is here. Tour of Duty begins. The roster is currently at 88 players. That's according to his counting. I don't know, but God bless you folks that count. You guys are the best. That obviously has to drop by 3 and more if we sign additional portal players. Who do you see entering the portal or dropping off the team in order to meet the number? Corey doesn't like doing this sort of stuff. I don't
That's
mind.
hard. It's just
if I say like Zane Herring, is somebody like, yo, Zane, Aslan on that one podcast thinks you're leaving, and is Zane Herring going to look at me dirty during Tour of Duty or something? As long as I don't say player X doesn't belong here, that's being rude. But if you're like, man, they've been here for this amount of years, they've recruited at that position. I'm not saying Zane here, but I think somebody on that offensive line. I think they're going to lose somebody from the offensive line because they keep recruiting all these guys over these dudes. Probably another wide receiver, and then I don't know what other position. How about that? Would you rather just talk about a position group, Corey? Do you disagree or agree with those?
If somebody refers to us as that one podcast, they're going to get a dirty look from me, much like Zane Herring would give you for insinuating he's going to transfer. But no.
Love you, Zane.
I would say that, yes, I would think multiple offensive linemen and maybe multiple receivers. And I can include tight ends in that. So I think just look at positions just look at any position where there's a kid that's been here for 3 years and is no closer to being a starter than he was when he got here. And there's multiple examples of that all over the roster. If that's still the case in this day and age with the talent you're bringing in, I'm not saying you're pushing these kids to the curb. they're going to go want to explore somewhere else where they might actually get to play. They probably don't want to just be here and be a practice dummy. It'd be a tackling dummy or a scout team lineman. They probably want to go somewhere else where they can play. So I would assume, like, if they haven't hit the portal now, everything will be illuminated for them in April after the spring game. And they'll know exactly where they stand and how much real opportunity they have to play. And if they have not made a leap, or if these guys the guys they brought in are just too good for them, I think that's when you'll see another exodus of probably somewhere between 4 and 7 guys, I would think.
Feels like defensive back and linebacker. I mean, linebacker just because of the numbers. But I feel like everybody probably feels they have a shot in that defensive backfield that's returning, to at least be involved. So I think it's probably going to be offensive. Maybe one defensive player, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that jumps out. But I think whatever number needs to get shed probably comes on the offense from those aforementioned positions.
Yeah. Because you already lost one of the defensive ends, right?
They lost Jared Jackson.
No, it was
George Wilson.
George
Shout
Wilson.
out
There
Virginia.
Yeah.
Noel Boyo 2. Hey, Aslan and Corey, wake up. We're a month away from opening day of baseball.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what do you think the baseball team's ceiling is? Side note here, I think it's gone to effect instantly or immediately, but now all these assistants are on the payroll for baseball teams. Like there used to only be 1 or 2 paid assistants.
2.
I think there's 3 or maybe even more now. So that's a good thing for that sport. But what do we think about their ceiling? Obviously they lose Parker Messick. Offensively, we were hoping we were going to get Tommy Batts. We didn't get him.
Yeah, right.
But we got Nander DeSaters. We got Nander back. Keep the streak alive. Let's make it to a super. Let's make it to a regional and see what happens. I think their ceiling maybe right now. I don't know. Call it a super. I'm not going to say Omaha. I know it's Florida State,
hard to know,
but still.
man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have I don't think you would have looked at the Notre Dame team last year and been like, well, their ceiling is Omaha. They were a 2 seed on the road in the regionals. And then they won at Georgia Southern, and then they had to go to Tennessee. So you get hot at the right time. That's the beauty of baseball. It's also the agony of baseball. You can be great all year like Tennessee was, and then just not play all that great or get outplayed, I should say, in your home stadium, and your season's over when you're that prohibitive favorite to win the College World Series. I think it's a lot of unproven pitching. It's a lot of unproven everywhere, but you have to assume that the defense and the base running will be better because it was just not. It's hard to imagine it could get worse.
I feel like we said that about going into 2020 after 2019.
Right, but then it's it's new coaching.
Yeah,
it's new coaching. It's a fresh set of eyes on everything. So I think. Look, man, I think a realistic ceiling for this team is to get to the tournament. And then after that, you get hot, you can get there. You know what I mean?
That's not the ceiling, Core. That's been the norm. That's been the expectation for 40 years. You got to at least say super. You at least got to say super is your ceiling.
No, because I don't look at it that way. Because the 2019 Florida State baseball team was the worst one that Mike Martin's ever coached. Legitimately. It was the worst team he ever coached. They were the last team in the field. And they made it to Omaha. Yeah. So it's hard to look at baseball like that. In my opinion, it just is. I don't think there's regular season. I think their ceiling is top 20, like somewhere between 15 and 20. They can maybe get there for the ranking.
Maybe host.
But maybe host. Maybe I think that's about how I'd rather look at it. Not Omaha, because so much is just a crapshoot. And if you get hot those 2 weekends, but I think for the regular season, their ceiling is probably in contention to host a regional.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Listen, they're going to be better.
Wyatt Crowell, he's really good.
They're going to be better at catcher. They've brought in options there. Sebastian Jimenez is healthy.
Yeah.
Colton Vincent's going to get pushed. They bring in McGuire Holbrook from West Virginia.
Yeah.
They got Baumeister. They got Connor Whitaker. You got Ferrer still there. Carson Montgomery. You got Ferrer.
Yeah, Jaime Ferrer, James Tibbs.
Yes.
You've got 2 of the better hitters, I think, in the ACC in Tibbs and Jaime Ferrer. So
Carry On's still around
there.
too, so they got pieces, man. So we'll never sleep on this baseball program ever. Don't know if we answered the question though, but maybe. All right, how about hosting the regional? That's the ceiling. We'll go.
Yeah,
can we agree on
because
that,
after that it's just a crapshoot. But yeah, for regular season, I think that's the ceiling is hosting a regional, not a super. They would not be in line to host a super. I don't think. I think that's a little too much.
Yeah. XDQ004, wake up, Corey. In regards to your Brock Bowers comment on headlines, remember Draftniks drooled over Jamar Chase and Micah. I'm going to guess Micah. He said Michael. Micah Parsons, even after they sat out the COVID year. It was COVID, and that's an anomaly, but they were still high picks even after they sat out the whole year. Of the newcomers, who are you most excited to talk to? No, we talked about it on the show the other day. I should have bundled these together. But I always like the offensive lineman. We're recording this before we speak to the guys that we spoke to yesterday, Thursday, as you're listening to this on Friday.
That wasn't confusing. Before we speak to the guys we spoke to yesterday.
We're going to have to figure out a way to do this a little bit less clumsy. Don't
mention time. You're not having to hold up today's newspaper and tell people to prove that you're actually being held hostage and you haven't been killed already. Look, for the Brock Bowers thing, just so people know, somebody asked if I was his dad. Maybe they asked all three of us. I just, it's all about me. Mm-hmm. Would you have him sit out this next year because he's a surefire top 10 pick? And I was like, man, personally, he can get an insurance policy for millions upon millions of dollars if he suffers an injury and can't play. He can collect on that. Plus the NIL money is there. Plus, as I pointed out, Brock Bowers probably enjoys playing football. Probably one of his life's greatest joys. And he might want to keep doing that and running over people and scoring touchdowns for an adoring fan base for another year. I get the risk, though. And I think it was Jeff that said that maybe it was me, that would NFL teams be cool with a guy sitting out? Would that rub them the wrong way if he sat out for a full year? But it probably wouldn't. I mean, if Brock Bowers is available, he'll be drafted whether he sits out for a year or not. His teammates won't like it, but what are you going to do? I hope that's not something that happens. I hope that's not something that becomes a thing. But I guess it could. I guess it could theoretically. I mean, it's still crazy. We didn't talk about it, Aslan. Bryce Young and Will Anderson played in their bowl game.
Yeah. I bet they got a bonus.
Crazy.
I bet they got a game bonus for that.
You ain't lying. Who was the Cotton Bowl? Whoever's the sponsor of the Cotton Bowl probably gave them a bonus.
Goodyear, I think. So they got
Goodyear. They each got a blimp.
Not enough dirigibles out there. Can we get more dirigibles?
Have you been on one?
No.
You should have Ira on one time to tell you that story because apparently it's pretty terrifying. The liftoff.
Okay. There's apparently legitimately only something like 36 or less than that operating in the entire world.
It's crazy, right? Like one burns down in the 30s, somewhere in New Jersey or wherever it was, and all of a sudden we can't ride them anymore? Come on,
Where's
gang.
our resiliency, America?
Right. The Titanic went down on its maiden voyage, and I see Carnival Cruise Lines. That's the only commercials I see during football games is for cruises. So the ship industry, the passenger ship industry is still doing great, but one blimp burns to the ground. And a lot of people even survived it, Aslan. People don't know that. Like half the people survived jumping out, and we just can't do that anymore.
You any closer to figuring out what cruise you're going to take with your missus?
No, I'm not. But we will take one. It's definitely happening. But I don't. I'm getting. I don't know if I'm getting I'm applying for my passport today because I don't have one.
All right.
So I'm doing that today before I leave town.
It's going to be like $25 to get a photo. It's disgusting. It's an absolute racket. Nole fan 624. Man, my voice is struggling. This is not good. Hopefully, you can make it through here. Sorry, you guys don't care. Wake up. It's so great to be in a place, Nole fan 624 says, where we're talking about playoffs, possible national title appearance after these rough past few years. Thanks for getting us through the dark times. Now there's light.
There is.
If you had to decide the fate of the program for the next few years and had these options, what would you prefer? Option 1, national title appearance in 23, potential to win it all, but the next 3 years, 7-8 win seasons, possibly being in the conversation for a playoff one of those years? Or would you take 4 straight top 10 seasons where you never win the national title? Thanks for all the coverage and great content. Go Noles.
It's because I've lived it with the Braves and honestly with Florida State in the 90s. I like 90. Like, wouldn't you rather? It was still pretty cool to be a Florida State fan from, let's say, 87 to 92, or from 94 to 98. That was still fun, even though they didn't end up winning a national championship any of those years. So I would always vote for that. Always.
14, 15, and 16 weren't bad years either. But I don't know, man. Just
right?
the fact that you – so we're going to go 4 years. I mean, you're telling yourself right now 4 years, no shot, or possible shot next year. But then if you don't, you're going to have 7 – I don't know if 8 wins to 10 wins. I mean, that is a significant –
But in the context of the question, you don't know in December of 2026 we're not winning this national championship.
No, that's just the thing. You're getting 4 straight top 10s. That's it. And you're not going to win a national title.
But
that's your ceiling.
Just how it – but you're looking at it in 2028, like looking back at it. Like, it turned out that way. But in the moment, you're going to be really excited. Like, man, we're in the playoffs again. We got a shot to win this thing again. And then it doesn't work out. But it was still a fun ride.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It was still a fun ride. Number one, trust me, I hate to be a pragmatist here and business-oriented, but for business's sake,
right,
if they're in the top 10 for the next 4 years, I'll sign me up right now. And I just think that the journey as a Braves fan, getting to enjoy all those wins, it's agony when you lose. It makes the losses tougher. But, man, winning, it's just so much more fun to cheer for a relevant team that's in the conversation. Florida State in the 90s was so much more fun than, obviously Florida State from 15 to 19 or however. It just was, man. I would say, I'm not going to say, no, I wouldn't say that because they were still good in 15 and 16. But let's say it was Florida State won a national championship in 15.
Yeah.
I would not want to, 15, 16, 17, and 16, 17, and 18 all played out the same way. I think you'd much rather prefer the 4 years where you're really good the whole time. Oh. I just think it's better for your mental health. Like watching a team struggle, a team that was once great, all of a sudden limp to 6 wins or 4 wins or 3 wins. It's soul sucking. But being relevant and in contention is always fun.
All right, you win.
Could be wrong though.
Yeah, I mean you make the playoffs. 4 straight years of making the playoffs.
Disappointment.
Or 3 of them at least for sure.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Imagine if they would have lost to Florida and Oklahoma this past year. How do you feel about this past year? That's 8 wins.
Yeah.
Not that fun. Not that fun.
Oh, so I think you're on my side.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Good.
I think so. I mean, again, you're a national title appearance. You're TCU. Like, how good does TCU feel right now? I'm not that you're going to get blown out by 50-something points, but we feel great about Tennessee. Like, we made it back there with our backup quarterback. But then it's like, man, that Tennessee loss, that hurt. The loss to Oklahoma, that hurt.
Yeah.
Runner-up.
No, they're painful. They're very painful losses. That's the problem when you get good again. Is the losses hurt twice as much. And if you're a Braves fan like I am, and those losses in October can really sting. Florida State fan, those losses to Miami, clearly in the 90s, really stung. But, man, you still get to enjoy all those sweet, sweet dubs.
Kurt OFD 78. Wake up, gents. We met Kurt at the Harry Buffalo in Orlando. He's one of the firefighter brethren. So
okay, nice. Yeah.
Not from New York though, but he's Central Florida.
Right, yeah. And I don't have the shirts that Sean gave us.
Come on, man.
Tom Lang has them. But I'm going to get him when he's in New York right now. I'm going to get him when he gets back.
Okay, cool.
Maybe he's visiting Sean. I don't know.
Yeah,
didn't tell us about it.
Get us a different color. Get us the other color way or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Wake up, gents! All caps with an exclamation mark. Maybe next week I can get back to yelling it out. Here's my annual off-season question about the strength and conditioning program. Can you find journalists at warchant.com? Please contact Coach Storms to find out about how the players are progressing. Yeah,
what do you think he means by that?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, what's he going to say? Like, I'm disappointed in my guys.
No. I mean, like, what is the progression? Like the weight gains or the lift gains?
Well, I guess so. How they looking in the weight room? Oh, there's more buy-in. There's better energy. But yeah, I would rather get like particulars. Like they'll give us the whole thing. Like we've gained 197 pounds of lean muscle. We've across 3 positions, whatever. That's I guess that's what they want.
No, but I'm saying from Kurt's perspective, like we wouldn't just ask Storms how are they looking. He's not going to say, actually, kind of like. they're full of themselves and they ate too much and they're all vomiting. Like he's gonna speak highly of them. Number one, because I'm sure they are doing well, but also because no strength coach would ever speak negatively about the kids in the weight room, because then what are you doing?
Yeah,
like that's your job.
Yeah, my job. I'm not doing a good job at it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, what are they looking like in terms of like maybe like not the motivation, but like the hunger, the energy, right? Because I think there's some people that might think that the team might have some complacency. You kind of want to hear about their attacking these days, these situations with like complete and just 110% maximum effort. Maybe is kind of. And
I think a better question when it comes to that, and I understand the point. I mean, strength and conditioning is the most important for the next 9 months. That's it. That's what this program is. You have a month of practice, but everything else is about strength and conditioning. Is maybe 5 or 6 guys and chart their progress, whether it's Johnny Wilson dropping a 10th off his 40 time, or one of the linemen increasing their bench by 60 pounds, something like that, which is tangible, and not just, hey, I feel like I'm in better shape.
That's really good, Corey. Yeah, like specific. Coach, give us who's improved the most on this lift, because I think he would if we ask specifically.
I do too. Yeah. Or give us the 5 that have improved the most on all these. I think they would. Yeah.
Also, I'm curious to learn about how the transfers compare to the rest of the team. Yeah, we can also ask, how are they getting acclimated. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get Storms maybe before Call of Duty starts, or maybe we'll do the whole Call of Duty dry run with Corey and myself, and we can.
That's right.
Do that, so.
And then we'll chart us. You chart us along with Trey Benson, and we'll just see how we progress until August.
Speaking of health and wellness, Vitamin Energy. It's a powerful boost of energy that nourishes your body with vitamins and supports healthy weight loss and much more. Take it as a shot or pour it into your water bottle and sip on it throughout the day. The vegan and kosher certified, gluten-free, non-GMO, zero sugar mix gives you the energy boost you crave without any of the crash. With offices in Florida and led by a slew of FSU grads, including an All-American track standout, Vitamin Energy's hooking up our listeners, Corey. Go to vitaminenergy.com. Use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO. So WARCHANT and then BOGO. It means buy one, get one. Buy one, get one free, everybody. You'll receive a free item of equal or lesser value whenever you purchase anything off vitaminenergy.com using the promo code WARCHANTBOGO. 9 different varieties, including formulas that can boost your immune system, your focus, or give you a pre-workout kick. You can even try their variety pack to see which shot best suits you. Again, check out vitaminenergy.com. Use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO. Corey, which one are you going to crack open first? They sent us a whole bunch of these to sample.
Man, they sent us a lot, and when we were I actually got them as we were doing the Zoom meeting with them, and I was like, man, number one, if this would have happened last year at this time, I probably just would have thrown them in the trash. That was pre-health nut Corey Clark. But now that I've changed my life, I'm legitimately looking forward to trying these out. I got them. We got them yesterday. So I want to try. I guess I could do 2 in a day theoretically, but I will probably do the workout booster first to see what difference that makes with me. To do it for like a week. See the gains that I make, not necessarily how much I'm benching, but just how fresh I feel, how much further I can run, whatever it is. And then I can't wait to report back to you fine people. Because as Aslan said, let's not gloss over that. These are Noles, man. Yep. This isn't just some other company from somewhere else. It's run by Noles. So when you buy this, and it's all natural, but when you buy this, you're helping out Florida State, a Florida State family. So just throwing that out there, gang. But yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait for you guys to see me. I'm going to be a walk-in billboard. I'm going to be a walk-in billboard for this product. I love my vitamins.
That's right. VitaminEnergy.com. Again, use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO. Buy one thing, get any other item of equal or lesser value for free. Check it on out. Seminole G13. Good morning, gentlemen. As always, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, guys and gals, for asking questions and being involved. Yes. Thank you. My question is one that I'm hoping can clear up a general question for me. Okay. With all the anger at Deion, which, by the way, shout out to Jeremiah Byers when he was asked about what he knew about Florida State. And he's like, Florida State kind of speaks for itself. He said something like they have this, and then he's like, and they also have Deion. Everybody loves Deion.
Yeah.
And like, Jeremiah, you sweet innocent young man.
I mean, it was actually sweet that he was pretty naive about that one element.
With all the anger at Dion, people are calling for us to let the number 2 jersey be worn again, and that comes with a debate.
Oh.
Yet Toafili, Duffy, Feaster, Gant, Dent, Sapp all wore retired numbers last year. So why are some numbers retired but still worn, others kept from seeing the field?
Great question. I love it, and I actually have an answer. We don't have to call Ira or anything. I know this for a fact. There are retired jerseys and retired numbers. There's like 55 is a retired jersey, meaning they've retired Marvin Jones's jersey, but 55 is still in operation.
Yes.
Retired numbers means that number is to never be worn again.
17.
And they stopped 17-2, Dion, 34, right? Ron Sellers.
Yeah, because Ernie Sims had to kind of ask for his blessing to be able to wear it.
And Jalen Ramsey, I think, had to ask for Charlie. I think didn't Jalen wear number 17 when he returned kicks? Like he would put it on at that one year. And they never kicked to him, so it was pointless anyway. And they always had to make an announcement. Jalen Ramsey is now wearing number 17. When he was returning kicks, he wore number 17.
Or did we have somebody that was wearing 13 and he had to wear something so they didn't double dip? What was his number at Florida State? I forget, Ramsey. I think it was because there was somebody else that wore his number because he was number 8.
Yeah, he was 8. So there was another number 8.
There was another number. So he wore a different jersey to signify. Was he wearing?
It was Kermit. It was Kermit, right?
Was he wearing?
Him and Kermit.
Did he wear 13 though?
He wore 13 his first year and then changed.
Okay.
When he got trucked in the national championship game, that was 13. Jalen Ramsey.
But he wasn't wearing 17 though, was he?
No, he was just on kickoff returns, and then he'd go back and put the number 8 on.
Okay.
It was crazy, and he never returned a kick. He returned like one kick the whole season. But they would do it, and they'd always announce like Jalen Ramsey's wearing number in the press box. Attention, media! Jalen Ramsey is now wearing number 17. So it's Biletnikoff, Sellers, Charlie, and Dion. I think are the only 4 that are the retired numbers. Where those aren't like think about it. You don't see 35, 34, 25, 2 or 17 worn again. What they realized once they started retiring these numbers is, well, gosh darn, we have a lot of really good football players, and if we start retiring all these numbers, every kid's going to have to wear number 75. Like, nobody's going to get a cool number because they're all retired. So they stopped retiring the numbers and just started retiring the jerseys. So, like, Jameis's 5 will be retired, but it's just Jameis's jersey being retired, not
Winky
the number
and
itself.
16, you
Yes.
still see Chris Ricks.
Warwick Dunn, like those jerseys have been retired, just not the numbers.
Awesome. Captain D_63. Good afternoon, Corey and Aslan. Hope both of you are doing well. We had a great recruiting day back in December. There's another recruiting day coming in February. Does Coach Norvell have anyone lined up for this date, or is December the main recruiting date now in college football? Yeah, I think
Maybe
Michael
one,
Langston.
right?
Maybe one. Yeah, there's a linebacker, I think, out of Texas they kind of have their eye on. That's the only player that I know that Michael Langston was saying could possibly, and this was like a week and a half ago, they could possibly be out there still on the hook for a February signee from high school. But obviously the portal, now again, the portal has closed. Like, you can no longer enter your name. Yeah. But there are some players that enter their name at the deadline, and then we haven't heard their name officially kind of come across. But I think by now they've all been filled out by their compliance offices. So there's a lot of guys that are still out there and available, but I don't know how you're starting to get maybe to some players that are maybe not as high caliber. So I don't know if they'll try to pick somebody up here now or wait till after spring football in May when the window opens back up. But Michael Langston got you covered in the PRB, the Premium Recruiting Board.
Yeah, and Thursday and Friday it was a lot of portal news. There were guys getting in right at the deadline all over the country.
Second question, have you had a chance to look at the baseball team? And if so, what is your take on how good you think they are and how far can Coach Jarrett take this team in his first year at FSU?
I'm going to say get him to host a regional.
Right on. Support Corner Pocket and those that throw money into the show. Sign up for warchant.com, the best site this side of heaven. And support the Seminoles as they prepare to get ready to get in the Final Four and knock Georgia off its throne.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I have not gotten a chance to see the team yet.
Maybe we need to let's see if we can maybe Link or somebody on the show here in the next week or so as we get ready for the season.
We absolutely should. We got to start drumming up some interest. He's certainly going to want to drum up some interest. And I know they have their fan day / scrimmage on February 11th.
Saturday, correct. And then they open up with James Madison Friday, February 17th.
And I don't know that, like, Meat would let me sit there and just watch practice. So would Mike Martin Sr. For really anyone, just come and sit and you could watch practice. I don't know that Link will do that. I'll say you should. The football coach lets me. I'm trusted with those secrets, but I don't know if we'll be allowed to, because I don't have a relationship with Link at all yet. Like, I don't think I've even met him yet. So that needs to change, and that will change, and we'll probably be best friends by May.
All right. Right on. Moving along, tennis ump. Wake up, guys. Listening to Justin Turntine talk about how welcomed he was when he arrived here and basically said that the same was not true for him at his last school, my question is, do you attribute this to our staff really vetting the incoming players and explaining to them that it is much more than just their talent needed here, or is it something else? The team seems to be this team seems to really be a team, is what I'm trying to say. And that was clearly not the case under our last two head coaches. Well, I mean, come on, man. We did all right for a few times in the other one. Thanks as always. Yeah, man, he says that it's really important to him that he's bringing guys in. He tells the players that are already on the roster, like, I'm going to bring guys in here, but I'm going to make sure they fit into what we're doing. That's like the only thing I know skeptical is the right word, but, man, like it's tough to psychoanalyze a 20-year-old kid over the course of, 2 phone calls and a 6-hour visit on your campus. But so far, he seems to have a really good formula for figuring this stuff out. I mean, he's bringing in guys that largely buy in and acclimate and get settled into this system, and they buy into it. I mean, I think, as Corey said on the show the other day, Jeremiah Byers talked about looking at practice, watching them the way they practice, how hard they our coach, and he was all about that. Keziah Holmes talked about, the brotherhood that was here and how excited he was to be part of that. Fenchel Cypress talked about, this feels like a place where, being part of a team is such an important part of the thing, and that's something he was really looking forward to. Yeah, man, it's like one of these really, it feels too good to be true, feel good kind of things that this head coach has brought to the program. But maybe we shouldn't be cynical because, again, man, he has done a really good job of, Jermaine Johnson. He brought this guy in here, and, that guy is more Nole-blooded than he is anything Georgia Bulldog. And, Jared Verse turned down likely being a first-round pick to come back and, try to help this program out that much more. Yeah, there's something to be said about, I guess, his knack, his way of quickly being able to judge character. It's quite uncanny.
It is. And I think also when you do have judging character is one thing, but again, like, let's say one of these transfers that's coming in is kind of a malcontent and doesn't get along with other kids and maybe gets upset and in his feelings and pouts or whatever. He will stick out so much that he's going to want to quit. Like, it just, you do assimilate. You do assimilate to what's around you. And when you have other guys, like, it's like Norvell finding good character is one thing. He that I do think that matters. I don't think that's just coach speak. I do think if this kid was also a great football player, but he heard from 3 people that had coached him or taught him or been with him, like, yeah, man, he is a cancer. I don't think Norvell's going to be like, well, I can change him. And he's still, I don't care. He can go score touchdowns. He changes the scoreboard. I don't think Norvell's like that because I do think he understands how much that matters. And more than anything, it's just not toxic. Like, avoiding toxicity is such a big deal in a locker room, man, because it can completely terrorize a football team. And I was thinking about that when you were talking about Jared Verse coming back. And all the guys that came back. Like, don't you think that speaks to? Mm-hmm. Like, what Turntine said was great in Ira's article, and I would encourage all you guys to go to Warchant and read that article. It's really good. It's really well done. It's it's an Ira story, so you know that anyway. But Turntine's quotes and his insight, because he's got a very unique one into what makes Florida State special. I think you'll get you'll get some real insight into what exactly it is. But I know those guys got some deals to come back. I know they're not just coming back for free. all the guys that announced on Twitter in December that they were coming back. But if it was a toxic locker room with coaches and players you did not like, it wouldn't matter. You would still go. If you weren't coming back, if you weren't good enough to go to the NFL, you'd go somewhere else. But they almost all came back, which again I just think speaks volumes of what he's built. And yes, it's good character evaluation. It's also good. It's really good from the players that are here to assimilate all the new guys. They see there is in fact like a Florida State way. And if I act like a turd, I'm gonna look like an idiot on this field. I'm gonna look like a complete fool. So I can't be like that anymore. Not anymore. That implies that they were like that before. But I just think that the character matters, but I also think their character gets shaped a little bit by what's already here.
All said.
Thanks, buddy. Now it's all smoke. I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
It's a new year. Yes, you do. It's a new you, hopefully, everybody. So give yourself a fresh start at MyBookie. Whether you bet to earn or you bet to make the games more exciting, MyBookie gives you the most for your money with their redesigned deposit bonus. Use the promo code WARCHANT on any deposit of $50 or more to receive an instant cash bonus to your MyBookie account. Using the bonus is simple. Just bet your deposit amount just once, and then you're ready to cash out. No strings attached with MyBookie. You can bet on anything, NFL, UFC, NBA, anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Corey, let's stick with the NFL here.
Okay.
Chiefs 3-1 to win the Super Bowl. Bills 3-1. Niners 4-1. Eagles 5-1. Bengals 8-1. Cowboys 9-1. Giants 26-1. Jags 32-1. I don't know. You want to go with value or? I mean, again, I think the Bengals, man. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good value bet.
They might play because won't they maybe play a neutral site AFC Championship game if they advance? I still forgot how to. No, it won't be.
No,
neutral site?
They wouldn't. It would just be if the Bills and Chiefs. By the way, if the Bills and Chiefs win and they advance, they're going to play in my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, how come the running back from Cincinnati did the whole coin toss? Joe Mixon did like the coin toss thing, like
that was if that had something to do like if they had lost to the Ravens in that last regular season game. There was a coin toss to see who would host, something crazy like that.
I got you.
But no, so they'll be playing in Atlanta. I don't know who that favors. I don't know who that favors if the Bills and Chiefs are playing Atlanta. Man, I'm going to...
Chiefs, fast track.
Yeah, you're right. But the Bills, they got some dudes that can run. I would... and look, man, it's better than them having to play in Kansas City again. Maybe they get a lead with 9 seconds left and they can't blow it instead of 13. I still feel bad for you Bills fans. I like, man, talking about value bets, and I know they're probably going to lose this week, and I'm never right on these things, so I should stop talking. But give me Cowboys at 9-1.
Oh, okay.
Let me put a sawbuck on that bad boy at 9-1. The NFC is certainly winnable, and once you get the Super Bowl, anything can happen. And they're kind of due. It's been 30 years, so maybe the Cowboys at 9-1.
Yeah. You can also bet on particular divisions you think might be the team that's coming out of it that's going to win it. So, like the NFC East, you got a couple more chips on the board. So check it out. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Just use that promo code WARCHANT when you do go over there. Big B 7034. Wake up, gents. Bakari here, a.k.a. Kari. Remember Corey? He said we can call him Kari.
Yeah, that's right.
What are your top 3 position battles you're looking forward to during the spring? Okay. He says offensive line, DBs, and kicker. Do longtime linemen like Robert Scott, Mo Smith, Darius Washington solidify starting spots? Yeah, man. Robert Scott, Maurice Smith, they're etched in stone almost, I want to say. But I don't know about Darius, though.
No, I don't think Darius is etched.
No. Who emerges as the next J-Rob? Nobody, probably, but we'll be okay. I mean, he was really good.
Wonk,
wonk. Can the new kicker push and possibly bid out Fitzmagic? That'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, we'll be charting those kicks probably even closer than one-on-one receiver drills. As always, go Noles. Yeah, offensive line will be interesting.
But I think we should be more specific. Like center isn't going to be interesting, probably.
Your guard spots.
Or left tackle. I think, and right guard is probably Byers. Well, he's not written in ink yet, but he's probably penciled in.
I think Roddick is left guard.
Yeah, but I mean, they like Estes. So Roddick probably has an upper hand there, but you don't know for sure. And then right tackle is Armella, and Bless Harris is back, who was your starter last year. So I'm really interested in right tackle, although I don't know how available some people in that competition will be. So I guess I don't know there. But, yeah, I think the guard spot and the right tackle spot, and this is more of an August question, honestly, because you don't really win battles in the spring necessarily. But those two I'd be watching a lot, left guard and right tackle. And then
yeah, because I don't think Bless Harris came out of spring looking like a starter, and then fall camp started,
right.
and he was like first team, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
And then maybe
receiver, like who are starting three receivers, man? Not that it matters because they rotate so much,
Yeah.
but I mean, are you going to be looking to see Johnny and then who's opposite him, and then Winston Wright probably in the slot, or can Micah hold them off?
And I think you go into 2023, like that first spring practice, I assume it will be Shaheem and Akeem Dent at your two safety spots. But, there were times where they played the same position and Shaheem was in for Akeem. So who else is out there? Who else is going to be pushing those guys for playing time? I think those are guys that are slated to start right now, but I am interested to see what even your depth looks like there, because that is probably that in linebacker, those depth pieces, the depth of those two positions are my biggest concerns going into 2023.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with the offensive line. I guess I'll go with one of the open guard spot, right tackle, and then who lines up opposite, like who starts between Fisk and Jackson, maybe, I guess I would say. Because defensive back, I mean, Noles and Greedy are going to battle for the slot job, but, I mean, I think they're fine there regardless. So I'm not like that on pins and needles. Although I don't know, I think kicker might be a little bit ahead of all of those. So maybe give me kicker and the guard and the tackle. Pretty much what you said, Big
kicker.
B.
Kicker will be interesting too, man. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got two more. My Truth. Wake up. Guys, this is your fourth season with Mike Norvell at the helm. Can you believe that, Corey? Fourth.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it our fourth spring?
Yeah.
So 2020, 20, that's crazy, yeah. All right.
We've been doing this for 6 years, guy.
I know. COVID was 4 years ago? That doesn't seem right. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I guess technically it is our fourth spring with him.
23. Tour of duty starts soon. Coach Storms' is time to shine. Against Clemson, Florida, and Oklahoma, those teams seem to be more physical than us.
Yeah.
How close to even, up front, most importantly, do we get this year?
I think that's a fair question. I think mainly you're talking about defensive line because, they got pushed around. That defensive line, one of them was without – two of them were without Fabian. But Fabian's one player. You weren't missing six guys, and you were pushed around. Oklahoma and Florida pushed you around. I'm interested in Tafasi, Daniel Lyons. What do those guys look like? I don't know how much we can expect them to have changed their bodies in the last 2 months, or in the 2 months between the last time we saw them and when spring practice starts, the 2.5 months. But what do those guys look like in August? Because that is a big deal. Fisk and Lovett, are grown men.
Daryl
Jackson is a grown man.
Malcolm Ray?
Malcolm Ray, sort of. He's a grown man, but he's, I wouldn't necessarily say he doesn't get pushed around some. But, he can always improve too. But I want to see what these redshirt freshmen look like after a full year, because you're going to have to get some snaps out of those guys. And you want to see something special maybe, man. Because Daniel Lyons, I think, has some special stuff to him, man.
They've said it numerous times.
But he ain't big.
No.
Not by modern-day defensive tackle standards. So he's got 8 months to get there and get stronger. And we'll see what that looks like in August.
Yeah, I really thought about it that way, but that's still maybe there's somebody else out there they can get in May that would help out, because I like the three they've got. I'd really like maybe one more piece that would make me feel really well, and then Malcolm Ray's like your fifth guy in that rotation, because I think Tafasi physically is ready to go. He hasn't played a lot of organized tackle football, and I don't know how much closer he is to becoming part of the mix there. But Daniel Lyons is probably a fair sort of target to see how he improves. Offensive line, man, listen, Robert Scott, he's not going to look like Trent Williams. I don't know if he was ever going to be built that way, but he's going to have like 30 starts under his belt going into the season. Maurice Smith is
and Maurice
battle
Smith around
tested
that too.
Roddick and Byers are big human beings, and then Bless Harris, Darrison Washington, maybe Lucas Simmons as a true freshman. Julian Armella. They should be able to hold up quite well, and they did most of the time with, giving Jordan Travis time to figure things out, and they paved the way for a really good run game. So at least the offensive line we feel quite good about. But that's a fair question.
It's a fair one. I thought he meant more about the because they ran the ball, and not in Oklahoma necessarily, but they ran the ball on Florida and mostly everybody else, Clemson too. So I thought he meant more about the defensive line. And just think, man, like again, that Clemson game and that Oklahoma game, you didn't have Fabian Lovett. You also didn't have Braden Fisk and Darrell Jackson. Yep. Those are all grown dudes. That is a trio of probably 925, 930 pounds that have all played a lot of football and are men. They should not be pushed out of the way like maybe other guys that were playing at Florida State last year were. And again, Cooper is a big dude, but Robert wasn't really ever, I don't think, fully healthy in 2022.
Yeah. Fair. All right, last one we made.
Just like Devontae Love-Taylor wasn't. Are we going to have to do we have a jinx going on?
I didn't want to. Yeah, I mean that's not a good thing to think about, but possibly.
I was going to say
because I want Robert Scott, man. If I don't got Robert Scott, sorry, Gene, there might be a contract holdout. Okay. I mean, I gotta have Robert Scott. I'm not gonna have to do anything. I'm just gonna have to hit broadcast live, and then he's just gonna take over, man. Or maybe Kenia Charlton if I can't get Robert Scott. But I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that too much. Robert Scott can drive a hard bargain now. So I don't know, Robert. We got a lot of competition out there and limited funds. So we'll see how it goes. All right, last one, Corey. S. Quinn 67. Wake up. Thanks for the great coverage in 2022. The War Chant crew was fantastic. From tour of duty to New Orleans, all the way to Harry Buffalo, I enjoyed the thorough coverage. Did we? I don't remember meeting you at Harry Buffalo, S. Quinn 67. Did you meet him, Corey? You didn't introduce yourself as S. Quinn, which I hope you would. There's a couple of you that can introduce yourself by your first names, like Vishal or, Ray Pereira can say, hey, it's Ray or James B. But, like, some of you, we haven't met enough to be like, hey, it's Sean. Like, I don't know.
I feel like I did. Yes, I feel like yes. I feel like I did.
All right.
And I feel awful that I can't remember anybody's name ever, or even if I met you. I do remember when I met you because I recognized the face, but I never remember the name or the context because I suck.
Okay. Questions, 2 of them. Assuming we do not go through any major injury, how many quarters do you think Jordan Travis will be wearing a baseball cap this season?
Ooh.
I got Southern Miss.
Okay.
North Alabama. I mean, at Boston College. I mean, Miami. Although I think Miami might have, I don't know. I actually shouldn't say
Virginia
anything.
Tech and Duke.
Syracuse. I don't know, Duke will probably, maybe Mike Elko will make it, enough of a struggle.
How many was it this year? Let's answer that. How many was it this year? Miami, fourth quarter. Syracuse, fourth quarter. Georgia Tech, fourth quarter.
Lafayette.
So it was 4 probably. Well, and then the Louisville game.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't wear a baseball cap in the Louisville game.
Well, not the way you want to see him wearing a baseball cap.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Maybe the BC game, too, he was probably in a cap. So 5 times that happened? And Duquesne. That happened 6 times this year? Good grief. He needs to get a baseball cap sponsorship. Yeah. I would say, I'm going to say 2 more or less than that. Only because I think 4, where he just sits out a complete fourth quarter. Because if he's really, if they're chasing some stuff with him, awards-wise, you might want to give him 1 extra drive than you normally give him, than you gave him this year. So I would say, I'm going to put the over-under at 4.5 for that.
I'll take the over. on 4.5. Good question, though.
Good question, though. Yeah. And Tate Rodemaker got to wear a hat even once or twice, I think.
Imagine being a Florida fan that used to listen to us, and they're like, actually, these guys aren't that bad. I'm going to keep listening to them. And now we're sitting here just boasting about, we're going to be so awesome.
Starting
quarterback doesn't even play all these games.
6 times he's going to have his cap on.
And what are you guys going to do? Graham Mertz.
Yeah, what are they going to do at quarterback?
Graham Mertz.
Come on, man. We don't want too much karma. We don't want bad karma out there. He maybe ends up being awesome somehow.
Yeah. All right. Second question. What would your over-under for wins for Florida State baseball be? Let me go see it. Well, they won like 30 something last year.
I'm going to say
37
30,
and a half.
I'd say 34.5.
Oh, come on, Corey. Give me a little faith. I mean,
Parity, man. The parity is better than it's ever been. Again, it's a lot of unproven talent, but it's good baseball players all over this state, and those are the only non-conference games they play are the Stetsons and the Jacksonvilles of the world, and they got good players, and they care about those Tuesdays and Wednesdays game. It's tougher than ever. And the ACC is always going to be tough, so I'm going to say 30. What I say, 34.5 is my over/under.
They won 34 last year.
Perfect. There you go. That included the big postseason win they had, though. Remember that one?
I'll say 36 and a half.
Okay.
And I will take the over. Man, they were rough last year, man. They were rough.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a repeat, man. I mean, I think even 37 probably. I mean, think about it. If they only win 3 more games than they did last season, how great are we feeling about this team? But then again, I don't know if you spread them out.
Yeah, I think 37 is a good. How many losses did they have?
25.
So they were. What did you say? 36 and 25.
34 and 25.
34 and 25. Okay. Yeah, 36 is probably a better number. You're right.
37 and a half. Well, let's take the over, kids.
Right.
Let's
Okay.
root for the Noles. All right, that's a wrap. We're done. We did it. 4 shows in a week.
How about that? How you like them apples, everyone?
For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant. Why don't you hit the thumbs up button? Maybe leave us a 5-star rating review. And go check out the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. They sponsor the show. Gosh darn it. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday.